We are back with another common mistake video. In this video, we look at 6 common mistakes that we all make. And the first 3, let me tell you, so common, I've heard so many people make this mistake. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started.
The friends I do make are friends who are very close and I can tell them everything and that I really trust.
We all make mistakes with simple present tense. But first, let's understand what it is. Simple present tense is majorly used in 3 situations. We use it to talk about facts and universal truths. For example, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. पानी हमेशा 100 डिग्री सेल्सियस पे बॉयल होता है, चाहे वो पास्ट में हो, प्रेजेंट में हो या फ्यूचर में हो. We also use the present simple tense to talk about permanent, long-term situation. For example, I work in a hospital. I used to work in a hospital. अभी भी मैं हॉस्पिटल में काम करती हूँ and probably in the future also I'll continue to work in a hospital. So this is a permanent situation. This is a long-term situation. We also use the present simple tense to talk about repeated actions. Actions that are repeated every day, every month, every week or every year. For example, I go to the gym every Wednesday. I went to the gym last Wednesday. I have been to the gym this Wednesday and I will go to the gym next week as well. So this action is repeating every week. Now, to make sure that you've understood the concept, I've put an activity in front of you. It's a very simple activity. You have to match column A to column B. The sun rises in the east is a fact. It always rises in the east. I visit my grandparents every weekend is repeated action. It takes place every weekend. She lives in Bombay is a permanent situation. जब हम प्रेजेंट सिंपल टेंस फॉर्म करते हैं, हम ऐड करते हैं SES whenever we are talking about third person singular. थर्ड पर्सन का मतलब है ना तो मैं द स्पीकर, ना ही आप द लिसनर, बट somebody else, the third person. So here the third person can simply be understood with he, she, it. बाकी सारी चीज़ों के साथ हम SES ऐड नहीं करते हैं. We do not add SES with plural. We do not add SES with I or you. Let's take a few examples. She wakes up early in the morning. Here we are talking about third person singular. Here we are not talking about I, we are not talking about you, we are talking about a third person. So here we have added S to the action wake. Similarly, if I say people wake up early in the morning, here we are talking about people. People are plural and that is why we have not added SES to the action wake.
The friends I do make are friends who are very close and I can tell them everything and that I really trust.
We also make mistakes with exceptions, so it's important to have a look at those. With he, she, it, we use has, and with the other pronouns, we use have. For example, my family dash dinner together every week. My family is single, is singular, it's one identity. So here we'll use the word has. My family has dinner together every week. The next mistake is also related to present simple tense. Whenever we form negative sentences in the present simple tense, तब भी हम mistakes करते हैं. देखो.
I go for a lot of script reading for web series and all of that. A lot of things doesn't really materialize.
जब भी हम प्रेजेंट सिंपल टेंस में नेगेटिव सेंटेंसेस फॉर्म करते हैं, हम डोंट और डजंट का इस्तेमाल करते हैं. वी यूज डजंट विद ही, शी, इट एंड वी यूज डोंट विद ऑल द अदर प्रोनाउंस. For example, she doesn't wake up early in the morning. Here we are talking about third person singular, so we have used the word doesn't. Similarly, if we say people, people is plural, it's more than one, so we'll say people don't wake up early in the morning.
I go for a lot of script reading for web series and all of that. A lot of things doesn't really materialize.
Let's do another quiz. This time we'll do a complete quiz of present simple tense with positive and negative sentences. So why don't you pause the video, write down your answers in the comments, and I'll pin the correct one.
Yeah. She's been preparing since a while. She knew that both her girls would be actresses.
Another common mistake is with the usage of the words since and for. Both since and for are used to talk about time. ये दोनों ही words time के बारे में बात करने के लिए use होते हैं. But they both have different uses and different meanings. Since is used to talk about when the action started. जब हम action की शुरुआत होने के time के बारे में बात करते हैं, That is when we use since. For example, I've lived in this house since 2015. Here the action of living started in 2015. हम यहाँ पर action शुरू कब हुआ वो बता रहे हैं. Let's take another example. They have known each other since childhood. In this sentence, the action started in childhood. We are talking about the starting point of the action, and that is why we have used since here. We use for, on the other hand, to talk about the length of the action, the duration of the action. For example, I've known him for 12 years. Here, I'm not talking about the starting point, I'm talking about how long, I'm talking about the length of the action. Let's take another example. She has been reading this book for a few days now. A few days here refers to the duration of the action, how long the action has been going on. Why don't you tell me the answer for this? I've been here dash morning. Since or for? In this case, the correct answer would be since, because we are talking about the starting point, which is morning. What about this one? He's been driving dash 10 minutes. In this case, the correct answer would be for, because we are talking about duration of the action. Let's try another one. She has worked here dash 2010. Since or for? Here also we'll use since because we are talking about the starting point, which is 2010.
She's been preparing since a while. She knew that both her girls would be actresses.
I think I'm hard on myself. And I think that's we all are hard on ourselves.
In this sentence, the word ourself is used incorrectly. But first, let's understand what are these words, the words that end with self or selves. These words are known as reflexive pronouns. To understand reflexive pronouns, let's understand the doer and the receiver of the action. The doer is the person who is doing the action, जो काम को कर रहा है. Receiver is someone who is getting affected by the action, जिसको वो action affect कर रहा है. We use these words when the doer and the receiver of the action are same. For example, I taught myself how to play the guitar. In this sentence, I am the doer of the action and I am the receiver of the action. I am teaching and I am being taught. Here, because the doer and the receiver of the action is same, we have used the word myself. You turns into yourself, he turns into himself, she turns into herself, and so on and so forth. We turns into ourselves and not ourself, because we is plural and that is why ourself will also be plural, ourselves. Ourself is not a standard English word. It is not recognized by most dictionaries, whereas otherwise it is mentioned at some places as being archaic and old-fashioned.
I think I'm hard on myself. And I think that's we all are hard on ourselves.
Girls are just expected to be like good looking, look nice, and just be enough interesting for a guy to fall interested in you in a film.
In this sentence, the word enough is used incorrectly. Enough का मतलब होता है sufficient. For example, the room is bright enough to record. It means that room में इतनी brightness है कि record किया जा सकता है. हम enough को adjectives के साथ use करते हैं. Adjectives are describing words. For example, an interesting book. यहाँ पर interesting book को describe कर रहा है. An old woman. यहाँ पर the word old is describing the woman. जब हम enough को adjective के साथ use करते हैं, the simple rule is adjective plus enough. For example, he is tall enough to join the basketball team. Tall plus enough. I think this book is interesting enough to read. Interesting plus enough.
Just be enough interesting for a guy to fall interested in you in a film.
These were the 6 common mistakes that we all make. Please let me know in the comments below which one of these did you make on a regular basis, and I hope you will not repeat them from now onwards. I know the first 3 were definitely very, very common. I'll see you in the next video. Keep unscrewing English with me. If you liked the video, then please like, share and subscribe.